Hi everybody, it's me again. Just getting back on the videos just because I've had a lot of questions come through in terms of teletherapy. Just a little bit of background on me. I am the clinical owner of Thrive and Shine Speech Therapy. We work with all ages, but our main focus is early intervention. We do focus on in-home services, so you can only imagine how insane it has been training everyone going from just going to their homes, the most natural environment, to suddenly going behind our computers. So I really do feel that it's important to ask questions. There's no stupid questions or dumb questions coming through. Um, and as much as we think things are common sense, it really isn't in a world that most of us haven't had an experience in. So the basics of teletherapy you want to have is any kind of device. It could be your phone, it could be your iPad, it could be an old computer, as long as it has data and internet. Then you have to think about the platform you want to use. The platform being HIPAA compliant, which is under question right now because the U.S. Health Department last week actually just sent out a memo that FaceTime, Skype, telephone calls, any of those type of therapy is now won't have any consequences when it comes to HIPAA until the state emergency. So again, if you are providing these services through anything other than the HIPAA compliant platforms, you want to talk to the person or the clinical director or your supervisor in terms of if you can use other means of communication. So it is really up to where you work with, if they're okay with it or not. Our clinic, we started with Clock Tree, which very quickly went down just because I think there was a lot of traffic. But it may work for some. We're kind of going in between Clock Tree and Zoom. I have found Zoom to be very, very useful because of the share screen and also being able to record. So it's been very helpful. Sometimes if my families are doing one-on-one with me, not one-on-one, the family center actually, if the parent and the child are doing the video with me, and then they need to leave the chat room after, let's say, 30 minutes, I'll spend the other 15 minutes recording and send that to the parents, which has been really helpful in terms of educating them and also giving them examples, almost the same as the ones that I do create on YouTube. So going back to what I was talking about, just having it some kind of device with internet, and then choosing the platform, and then also making sure that it's convenient for the families to be able to use that platform. We have families that are very savvy with technology, and we have ones that even getting into their emails might be difficult for them. So we have to be really mindful of our families and how they can really access what we're giving them. A lot of questions that have been coming through is about telephone therapy, which I know some regional centers have okayed, and some haven't. So really, again, you have to talk to the person that is making those decisions and giving you the okay for it. But my type of telephone therapy is really, first of all, creating a lot of examples for parents that are visual, like videos, and I might show them how I would read a book or pick a toy, such as maybe even mystery eggs, which are my favorite things. If you know me, you know I love these mystery eggs where I open it and I go, oh, a monkey, and really showing parents how to elaborate on those strategies, which I think the next video I'll make is going to be about facial approximation models, such as moving the toy near your face and getting really close and modeling, so there's word association with the way you say it. So we'll talk about that, but I'll send those models to the families and then talk to them over the phone about those strategies and how to really elaborate on those. I'll also send them handouts. I love the gift program, which we use, for example, bubbles, and how action words and nouns that can be used, descriptive language that can be used as simple as an activity like bubbles. So we'll provide those for families, and really talk about it over the phone for those who don't have access again. to internet. You might be wondering, well, how do they get to watch the videos? It depends. I mean, sometimes they don't have the access right away, but maybe a brother, an uncle who's spending time with them in the same household might have the same screen time for the families to watch, but otherwise you can be on the phone. Again, you want to make sure that whoever is you're working with is okaying, and that those are billable and those are appropriate type of remote communication. Another question that has been coming up a lot is, what do you do if a family just doesn't want to participate at all? It's a question that comes up, and again, if they're not participating in teletherapy, which really the huge component of teletherapy is the family-centered base, then you need to come up with why is it that family doesn't want to participate, what's making them uncomfortable about teletherapy, and really coming up with solutions to those problems. One example is one of my family was saying, I just don't have time. I'm schooling my other kids at home, and I just can't find a time. So sometimes rescheduling and scheduling them at a different time and not sticking to the same schedule you had prior, working out a schedule with families, also maybe dividing up what you're doing, maybe that you do live teletherapy a little bit with the families, then you do handouts and education, and then get on the telephone and really speak to them about that. Again, goes back to if that's billable for where you're working with. But really understanding that not one way might work with families. You might need a combination of all. And some families might not at all be interested in teletherapy. And one reason has been very famous and popular is, I don't want my child to get any screen time. And I tell parents, I go, the videos I make might not necessarily at all be watched by your children. It might actually be for you to watch and really learn about how I'm modeling those activities, and you could do it with your child live. So that gets rid of that screen time, but it's still providing some source of education to the family. And they're not going on, we don't know how long this is going to last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, less of no services. Hopefully it won't be more than that, but we'll see. Those were really good questions asked, because it really helps me lead my videos. So if you do have any questions, please do ask, because I'm sure if you're wondering, most people are wondering. Sometimes I might not have the perfect answer, but I can at least give you some strategies that might work. But no matter what information I'm providing you, you always want to double check with your supervisor or director of where you work to make sure that those can be implemented in the clinic, school, or health facility that you work with. Thank you. I'll be sending some fun mystery videos soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.